You're listening to a New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Volk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobVolk. Here he is, Jacob Volk.
Hello, Yankees fans! Welcome to another New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Volk Show. I am Lee, Jacob Volk, and you're not. It didn't seem like it could get worse for the Yankees when I spoke to you last week. Somehow, some way, it has. They teased us with two pretty convincing wins against the Twins on Tuesday and Wednesday. They're up 5-3 going into the bottom of the ninth, and you're thinking, you know what, maybe this is the start of something. Sometimes that's all you need as a team, just to beat up on an inferior team. You gain some confidence, you can carry it over into the next series, and the series after that, and the series after that, and you're good. But of course, we all know what happened on Thursday. Aroldis Chapman absolutely implodes. In just 9 pitches, without getting it out, he gave up a single, a game-tying home run, another single, and then the game-winning home run. Okay, Chapman's human. Put it behind you and beat up on a Phillies team that isn't that great. You fall behind 7-2. DJ LeMahieu comes up big in the 9th inning with a game-tying home run, but no one's going to remember it, typical LeMahieu, because Chapman blew another game. I mean, it wasn't Chapman's fault, but you know, he has one job to do there. Prevent Ronald Torreyes from scoring. He's the closer. He's got to be able to shut the door. Instead, the Phillies win the game on 2 balls that didn't leave the infield. And then yesterday was a complete joke. 7-0 shutout. Aaron Nola looked like the second coming of Robin Roberts. The starting pitching in the 2 games against the Phillies was pathetic. Jameson Taillon only got through a third of an inning. Domingo Germán gave up 10 hits. In 4 1/3, he gave up 7 runs. You know, I've defended Taillon in the past. It's getting really hard to here. For God's sake, it's the middle of June and he's 1-4 with a 5.74 ERA. Why can't Brian Cashman trade for starters? How come every other GM in the league can trade for starters except Brian Teflon Cashman? Michael Pineda, nope. Sonny Gray, nope. James Paxton, nope. Jameson Taillon. Most likely not. And Germán has his worst start since coming back from the alternate site. His off-speed stuff was dreadful. The Yankees right now are just 1 game over 500. They are 8.5 games behind the Rays for first place in the AL East. If it wasn't for the terrible team that is the Baltimore Orioles, they'd be in last place in the AL East. They are 4 games out of a wild card spot. And how's this for a kick in the teeth? The Yankees have scored the least amount of runs in the American League out of any team except the Detroit Tigers. This vaunted Yankees offense is getting outscored by every team in the American League except the AAA Detroit Tigers. Well, wait a minute. Can I call the Tigers a AAA team? Because they swept the Yankees. If the Tigers are a AAA team and they swept the Yankees, what does that make the Yankees? Doesn't that make them a AAA team? Are they a AA team? I don't know. I mean, I've seen some people say that they did this last year and they rebounded. They'll be fine. We've got just under 100 games left in the season. No, they won't be fine. For your logic to be true, this entire offense that hasn't been hitting suddenly needs to coalesce at the same time. LeMahieu would need to get his act together. Although, granted, he's not terrible. It's just you want him hitting more than 261 and you want him to have more than 4 home runs. Gleyber Torres would need to step it up a little bit. You want him to hit more than 272 and you want him to have more than 3 home runs. Again, though, he's not the seminal reason that the Yankees are struggling. Gio Urshela, you'd want to have hit more than 266. Again, not the seminal reason that the Yankees are struggling. The seminal reason that the Yankees are struggling is really simple. It's something that I've said before. It's something that everyone knows is an issue, but for whatever reason, the Yankees just aren't correcting it. They can't get clutch hits. They can't move runners over. When runners are in scoring position, they can't drive them in. I mean, for God's sake, the Yankees have the least number of RBIs in the American League. They are second to last in the American League in terms of total runs scored. The only team that's worse than them is, once again, the Detroit Tigers. If you're mentioned in the same breath as the Tigers, a team that's 26-39, you're doing something wrong. Whenever the Yankees get runners on, they try to hit it out of the park. It's infuriating. That's not how you win baseball games. You win ball games by getting clutch hits. Not clutch home runs, clutch hits. Can they be home runs? The answer is yes, but they don't need to be. The reality is, if DJ LeMahieu and Gleyber Torres stayed in the single digits in home runs all year, I'd be okay with it if they drove runners in when there were runners in scoring position. DJ LeMahieu, not that long ago, runner on second, 2 men out. He's hitting a single to bring that runner home. And Gleyber Torres would get a hit to bring a runner home. The reality is Marcus Timms, the hitting coach, and PJ Pelletier, the assistant hitting coach, need to go. If you want to save this season, you've got to fire the hitting coaches. Get some guys in who are going to preach to these guys, hey, you don't need to hit it out of the park every time. Singles and doubles are fine. You've got a runner on third. You don't need to hit a home run to bring that guy in. Same thing with a runner on second. We're nearing the point of no return here. The Yankees are 3-7 in their last 10. And they're going up against a couple tough teams this week. The Blue Jays, who they're chasing in the division, and the Athletics, who are leading the AL West. If you don't make up ground after those two series, you've got to fire the hitting coaches. You've got to do something. Try to save this season. But Jacob, what about Boone? What about Cashman? The reality is, firing those guys now won't change anything. I am with you 100% that if the Yankees miss the playoffs, or do nothing in the playoffs if they get there, Boone and Cashman need to go. Okay, I am with you there 100%. But what's firing them now gonna do? Who's ready to take over the Yankees now if you fire those guys? Carlos Mendoza? You're going to have Carlos Mendoza as the Yankees manager? No one's going to be mistaking him for Joe McCarthy anytime soon. Same thing with Matt Blake. Same thing with Reggie Willits. Same thing with Phil Nevin. Same thing with Mike Harkey. Firing Boone would make the fans happy. There's no question. And yeah, the Yankees may need to engender some goodwill right now, because there are a lot of ticked off Yankees fans right now, and you can include me in that group. But in actuality, what's it gonna do? And what's firing Cashman gonna do? We're a month and a half away from the trade deadline. You don't want to conduct a GM search a month and a half before the trade deadline. Because by the time you find Cashman's replacement, he's going to have no time to work on potential deals. Forget making a bunch of trades to try to save the season. I don't think that's in the Yankees' best interest. I don't think you can do that. I just don't think you have the prospect capital to do it. I don't think the guys available are going to make that big a difference. If you're looking at Ketel Marte as the savior, you've got to take a long, hard look in the mirror. All due respect to Ketel Marte, okay? He's a good player. He's a really good player, as a matter of fact. But he's not going to save the Yankees season. The issue runs deeper than that. It runs deeper than just one position. There needs to be a change in the organizational philosophy of the Yankees. Enough of this home run or bust mentality. The Rougned Odor trade now looks terrible because it just exemplifies the issue that the Yankees have. All home runs, nothing else. Are there any players specifically that I think could be traded? The obvious answer is Zach Britton. This is the last guaranteed year on his contract. And Britton did come back the other day, so look, if he's healthy and he pitches well in the next month and a half, yeah, you may be able to get something pretty good for Britton. Other than him, though, I don't know. Corey Kluber, maybe, but he'd have to be really desperate for starting pitching. There will be better starters that become available than Corey Kluber. Let's put it that way. And it's nothing against Kluber, it's just he's hurt right now. Won't be back until August. And even then, God knows what you're going to get from him. Clint Frazier won't get you anything. Again, great job, Brian Cashman. What did I say in the Yankees offseason preview? Trade Frazier now while his value is at its highest. It's never going to be higher than it was last offseason. You could have gotten something really good for Frazier. Now, you'll be lucky to get a ham sandwich. Chad Green, maybe? Depending on what offers you get, maybe I could be talked into it. Jameson Taillon, you're not going to get anything for. Gary Sanchez, you're not going to get anything for. Same thing with O'Day, same thing with Gardner, same thing for Wilson. Same thing for Hicks, same thing for Sevy. Rougned Odor, I don't think you'd get anything for. Aroldis Chapman would be interesting. How funny would that be? Trading Chapman twice when you're blowing things up. You did it in 2016, you could do it 5 years later. Get another Torres. I wouldn't mind that, I like Torres. The reality is, there's no player that's going to come in and save this team. Not Ketel Marte, not Luke Voigt, not Luis Severino, no one. The Yankees need to drill it into their hitters that they can't swing for the fences every at-bat. Just try to make contact. Get singles and get doubles. That's the only thing that the Yankees can do right now to save this season. If they don't do that, watch out for a fire sale. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. And if you follow me on Twitter at RealJacobVolk, you know what it is. SNY tweeted a picture of Mr. Met sitting at a table with a sign, Jacob deGrom is the best player in baseball, change my mind. So I tweeted a GIF of Garrett Cole, and I said that he exists, deGrom isn't even the best pitcher in New York. My God, did I get flamed. And I knew I would. I knew I'd get ratioed. I knew I'd get a lot of heat. I'm not scared of the heat. I knew what I was doing when I tweeted that. But I do just want to say one thing. I wasn't trolling Mets fans. I wasn't saying something just for the sake of saying something because I wanted to tick off Mets fans. I truly believe that Garrett Cole is better than Jacob deGrom. And I understand the year that deGrom is having. Okay, it is a fantastic season. 6-2 with a .56 ERA and 103 strikeouts. That is sensational. There is no other way to describe it. But Cole isn't that far behind him. Cole is 7-3 with a 2.31 ERA and 113 strikeouts. It's very lazy to say that deGrom's ERA is just over half a run, and that makes him the best player in baseball. First off, the notion that deGrom is the best player in baseball, no! The argument would be best pitcher in baseball. Are you kidding me? You have guys like Vlad Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., Ronald Acuna Jr., Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, etc., etc., etc. Those guys are all better than deGrom. SNY got it wrong. The question isn't, is deGrom the best player in baseball? He's not. The question is deGrom the best pitcher in baseball? I don't think the answer is yes. Again, you're looking at one stat and saying, this is better than all other stats. Lazy. This is the question that I didn't get the answer to. And the reason I didn't is because Mets fans know I'm right. Life on the line, who do you want pitching? Gerrit Cole or Jacob deGrom? There's only one correct answer. Gerrit Cole. It's not up for debate. Cole is the better clutch pitcher. In Jacob deGrom's last postseason start, Game 2 of the 2015 World Series, he went 5 innings and gave up 4 runs. Let's take a look at what Gerrit Cole has done since then. In the 2018 ALDS, he pitched 7 innings of 1-run ball. The 2019 ALDS, he started 2 games, only gave up 6 hits, only gave up 1 run. He made 1 bad pitch, gave up 3 walks, struck out 25. Killed the Yankees in Game 3 of the ALCS of that year. I was there. Got shelled in Game 1 of the World Series. Okay, I'll give you that. Rebounded in Game 5 by pitching a gem. 7 innings of 1-run ball. Pitched great in Game 1 of the wild card round last year. Pitched really well in Game 1 of the ALDS last year. Then Game 5, on 3 days rest, Cole pitched 5 1/3 innings. Made 1 bad pitch. You want to tell me that Cole has been on better teams? That's not on deGrom? Okay, but that's missing the point. Mike Trout hasn't been on great Angels teams. He has a reputation of not being a good playoff performer. Same thing with Ted Williams. Meaningful games does mean something. Gerrit Cole has pitched in more meaningful games. You have no idea how deGrom would do in a must-win playoff game. Look, in the NLDS and in the NLCS, deGrom was good. But in the World Series, with the lights on bright, deGrom folded. Gerrit Cole has had numerous great outings in the playoffs since then. Look, I'm not knocking deGrom, okay? Jacob deGrom's a great pitcher. In fact, he's probably a future Hall of Famer. Ultimately, it comes down to what team you root for. In the 1950s, when there were 3 MLB teams in New York, they all had Hall of Fame center fielders. The Yankees had Mickey Mantle, the Giants had Willie Mays, and the Dodgers had Duke Snider. All the Yankees fans said that Mantle was better than Mays and Snider. All the Giants fans said that Mays was better than Mantle and Snider. All the Dodgers fans said that Snider was better than Mantle and Mays. It's the same thing here. If I had tweeted that in response to something that the Yes Network tweeted, I wouldn't have gotten the same response. But SNY is populated by Mets fans. So yeah, they're going to go after me. That's fine. Mets fans think that deGrom is the best pitcher in baseball. I get that. And I'll even say that they have a legitimate argument for it. It's not irrational. But Yankees fans are going to think that Cole is the best pitcher in baseball. And they have a great argument for it too. It's definitely not irrational. Hell, Cardinals fans probably think that Jack Flaherty is the best pitcher in baseball. Dodgers fans think that Clayton Kershaw is the best pitcher in baseball. Indians fans probably think that Shane Bieber is the best pitcher in baseball. Etc., etc., etc. There's a tribal mentality here. I get that. But I wasn't trolling. I wasn't saying something that I don't believe just to tick off people. I truly believe that Gerrit Cole is better than Jacob deGrom. And you can't tell me that I was irrational in my argument just now. You'll get another one of these New York Yankees shows next week. Regular episodes of The Jacob Volk Show come your way every weekday afternoon. On Wednesday, you're going to get the interview that I'm going to do with Matt Frazier and Robert Cheek, the authors of a book on being a plant-based athlete. It's going to be a lot of fun talking to them. Until next time, I am Jacob Volk saying that they ought to change the name of the Yankees to the New York Light Company. They don't have anything but utility guys.